20 simple Minecraft hacks for the 1.17 Cave update. Caves and Cliffs brings a bunch of new features to the game, and with those changes comes even more creative ways to use them. So today, let's see some of the coolest uses for the new additions to your world. And number 1. Pillaring can be a crucial form of escape in Minecraft. That is, until you've got something like a spider on your tail. And then, it's an open invitation. So if you're looking to escape without leaving around a big eyesore, then maybe try the softer approach. Through the help of powdered snow buckets, it's possible to place a block and then grab it for reuse. Meaning, with a bit of practice, we can pillar in the game using just powdered snow blocks. Granted, you'll have to remember to carry around a set of leather boots so you don't sink in, but the payoff is pretty nice. And as long as you don't freeze to death, then this pair of powder might just be able to get you out of danger. Number 2. One-way doors are a very cool concept. But if your redstone know-how is as bad as mine, then they can be tough to build. So instead of pulling your hair out, 1.17 actually gives a much simpler solution. You see, the way the dripleaf plant works, just the right amount of weight will cause it to bend in the given direction. And that, folks, gives us just enough time to cross through the entrance and wind up right on the other end of the hallway. Only to look back and see that the dripleaf returns right back to normal. Now sure, someone could just break this, but you could say the same for any door. And even with that problem, this still might be the most compact lock system I've seen. Number 3. If you've ever played on a faction server, then you're well aware that these kits are all the rage. But until recently, they haven't had a solid vanilla counterpart, though that all changes with the bundle item. Now, through the help of the give command, it's fully possible for map makers to give players a fully decked out and named kit just like that. There are even command generators to easily arrange the grid. So if someone happens to die in the arena, getting them a fresh starter kit could be just as simple as this. And not to mention, it's quite the stylish solution. So I wouldn't be surprised if we were to see something like this in a future diversity map. And personally, I'd love to see that. Number 4. It can often be tough to make an inescapable trap in Minecraft, especially when they got endgame gear. Though the new lava cauldrons might just give us the perfect solution. Now, by themselves, they behave just as regular lava. But when partnered with honey blocks, these become a lot more dangerous. Since you're still affected by the honey's sticky qualities while you're in the cauldron, the player can't jump out of the pot to save themselves. And there you have it. Just with these 2 blocks, we made a trap that you simply can't jump out of. And if you pair this with a fall trap, you'll be sure to stick your foe right in the hot seat. And for their sake, I hope they packed a potion. Number 5. Skeleton spawners are a valuable asset to have on hand, but we're now able to upgrade this good thing into something even better. Now, by adding in powdered snow, we're able to turn our skeleton farm into a stray spawner. Now, you might ask why we would do this, but it only takes one look at the loot table comparison to see just how much these slow skeletons can drop. And that's all upsides, folks, especially when all it takes to make the change is just some powdered snow and cobwebs. And at that point, it's a no-brainer. So if you're looking for an upgrade in the new update, then I highly recommend checking out Works design on the sort to bring your spawner up to peak performance. Number 6. Instamind tools are usually something we associate with late game. I mean, most of the time, you're not even getting this without Haste 2 and Efficiency 5. Or, you could just use Bone Meal. No joke, with the new Moss feature, it's possible to turn stone and deep slate into some of the easiest blocks to break in the game. And from there, you don't even need a netherite pickaxe. Just a stone hoe is all you need to dig these blocks. So as we start spending a lot more time clearing out the depths below, it might be worthwhile to bring some of this compost down in the caves. And besides, you can't even instamind deep slate with a beacon, so this is no doubt the best option to use. Number 7. In a lot of ways, deserts can make great locations for bases. You don't have to worry about constant weather changes, and there are so many different sandstone blocks that there's plenty of variety to choose from. Though their oasis qualities leave something to be desired. I mean, who would want to live in a place with grass like this? I understand it's accurate, but most of the time, it just looks gross. Though, while the grass color map isn't changing anytime soon, we do have a new green block to play with. Through the help of the moss block, we can make desert grass that actually looks green and lush. And hey, the same goes for using azalea leaves instead of the regular ones. And needless to say, this is what you should be growing. Number 8. Waterlogged blocks offer up a ton of interesting ideas worth trying. And while there are no shortage of positives you can do with the soaked stuff, 1.17 might just offer up my favorite option, a toggleable spike trap. Now, when a dripstone is on the ground, it's obviously not something to mess with. But add a few drops of water, and now it's safe to land on. Meaning, if you were to add something like this to your fall pit down to the mines, you could just as easily switch it off for whoever follows you down there. And just like that, what seemed like a safe fall for you turns into one that they'll never forget. And at that point, you can take their stuff and leave the mines with even more of a profit. Number 9. If you're looking for a quick way to the mountaintops, then cake horse ladders work plenty fast. I mean, in the past when we tested the fastest way to sky limit, this method ranked up in the top 5 best. But now we can make this staircase even faster through the help of dripstones. By alternating between dripstone and partially eaten cake, we're able to get an even steeper incline that lets us climb up at some crazy speeds. Sure, it's gonna take a while to get all the resources to do this, so if you're looking to eat a bunch of cake, then this investment's gonna pay off. And it's also the perfect combination of weird and practical, which that alone is worth a try. Number 10. Ask any game developer, it's quite the task to make sure players don't get lost. And Minecraft builds are no different. So, if you're looking to develop a map that doesn't leave your friends wandering around aimlessly, then you might need to use a couple of these glowing item frames. That way, you can put in items like stairs to serve as illuminated arrows in the dark, so that even in the dimmest part of your underground base, it's easy to see which way they'll follow. And if you want these to look even better, then try summoning in this item with the invisible tag like such. That way, you still keep the glow without the backdrop of the frame, giving you a chance to light the way without ever having to use an awkward torch. Number 11. Making Minecraft builds automatic can often be a tough problem to solve. At the very least, it's not usually that compact. But dripleaf might just be the golden opportunity. Now, clearly, when you stand on these for too long, they're sure to give way to gravity. But what you might not know is that if you stand put just like such, then it's possible to use this as a time-trapped door and put the player right into a crawl position. So if you took that time to wait around, you might just notice that the entrance to a crawl space was right underneath eye level. And folks, this is just barely scratching the surface for an implementation. And I'll leave the rest for creative people like you. Number 12. Whether you're playing on easy or hard mode, mob-proofing is an essential chore on your to-do list. And while light level can work, that isn't as much of an option in the nether. So if you're trying to get piglins to stop spawning in your travel tunnels or next to your fortress farm, then an easy-to-get solution is a moss carpet. Now initially, it might seem ridiculous to try and put vegetation next to lava, but apparently, moss carpet doesn't burn, making it pretty ideal for the lava landscape. Though I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that even though this doesn't burn next to lava, flowing lava will still break these the same as flowing water. But as long as you keep that in mind, you'll be safe. Or safer, at least. Number 13. The candle is one of the most popular features in the first part of the Caves and Cliffs update. And thankfully, Mojang decided to add these back in after temporarily removing them. Because while they obviously have applications for lighting, it might be even more useful as a weird decoration like such. I mean, look at how much we can do with these. Whether that's a sword's hilt, a stick of dynamite, or raindrops from a cloud, this offers up so many possibilities for the building community. Especially with the way that we get a new texture whether they're lit or not. And while there's plenty we can do with this, I think it's gonna be tough to top this snail design. Because come on, it's too perfect. Number 14. Whether you're playing a game of Manhunt or trying to prank your friend, everyone loves a good trap. And with the help of the dripstone falling entity, we can make a particularly effective one. As it's coded, a dripstone falling from a height of 40 blocks will do the maximum amount of damage. Though, as soon as it goes through an end portal, that fall height doesn't reset. But rather, whoever goes through the gate next to me, quite the deadly surprise on the other end. Even with a diamond helmet, the odds are that your friend's still gonna get skewered the same way. So if you're looking to make the end off limits, then a couple of stalactites might just finish the job. Number 15. We all know bone meal can be a very useful tool to have. But sometimes, getting enough of it can be a real hassle. So, to keep your farms fueled and supplied going forward, how about we get a bit more creative and turn stone right into bone meal? I know, that sounds crazy, but as members of the community have found out, we can use the new moss functionality to turn stone generators into bone meal farms. Granted, we're still in the pretty early stages of these designs, but the concept is there. And just like that, we've got a self-sustainable bone meal farm that's sure to provide plenty more for your farms in the future. Number 16. Now, obviously, the Caves and Cliffs update has us spending a lot more time in the dark depths below. But that's the thing, even with the new glow lichen on the walls, lighting up these caves is still a mega task. So why don't we try night vision potions instead? Though that's got its own issue. Potions don't stack, so they're gonna take a lot of room. So instead of sacrificing storage for bottles, why don't we just use night vision arrows instead? After you craft a chunk of these, you can simply hit yourself with a dose and get right back to exploring. Sure, it's a bit more painful, but that's a small price to pay for seeing in the dark. And a stack will give you plenty of time to do that. Number 17. Making your builds look realistic is not an easy task by any means. For one, Minecraft doesn't behave realistically, so it's often tough to replicate that in the game. Though, it only takes one look to the building community to solve that problem with some ingenuity. For instance, say you want a build to look desecrated and destroyed. Well, clean stone bricks don't exactly show that, but by mixing in some of the new deep slate and blackstone blocks, you can get some pretty convincing charred and ruptured bricks. And really, this just gets me excited excited for all the cool things we can do with the new stone blocks below, because with even more gradients for stone, the creativity can crank up to the nines. And from there, that experimentation's up to you. Number 18. Terraforming a biome is not a simple task, which is too bad, because there really are some great results to changing around and creating your own custom biome. So why don't we try and find the easy way out? So, for the sake of an example, how about we try to take the gray hues out of a mushroom fields biome and make them a bit more colorful? And for that, moss is a classic candidate. Since this block loves to replace the ones around it, all we need is a ton of bone meal and plenty of dedication to get the job done. And just like so, we can transform fungus to flora and make this biome a lot more lush to see. And hopefully the mushrooms will like it as much as we do. Number 19. When 1.14 rolled around, bamboo gave us a very solid way to defend our bases from enemies. With its weird hitbox, we're able to walk through just fine, but the mob AI struggles a bit to make it past the chutes. Which is great, but a bamboo barricade doesn't fit in every build. So luckily, we've got something a bit more metal to use instead. Through the help of the copper lightning rods, we can place a couple of these down and get ourselves a mob-proof gate. And hey, if you think about it, they basically turn into an electric fence as well. Though maybe that's better at fending off zombies than creepers. But with a cat to keep those away, then this safety solution's definitely worth a try. Number 20. Cannons are nothing new to Minecraft. Whether that's launching TNT at a pirate ship, ender pearls to the horizon, or even arrows to the dragon, we've all seen these before. But who would have expected that an update about caves would give us the perfect projectile for the skies? Well, through the help of slime blocks, dripstone is just that. When broken off its ceiling, it's possible to bounce this fallen entity towards your enemies and make some pretty scary artillery. Is it the most practical? I'm not exactly sure. And honestly, when a machine is this fun, I think that balances out any of the questionable practicality. And with that, folks, bone meal that sub button down below, and have a good one, alright?